Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to Universe of Biotechnology. So today we are going to discuss a kind of introduction about bioinformatics. Okay, तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं. Bioinformatics basically is a branch of science, a part of science, basically biological sciences. This bioinformatics has vast applications. Okay, in today's world. It also involves computer science, chemistry, biochemistry, biology, statistics, mathematics, and engineering. Okay, these are basically involvements of bioinformatics. This bioinformatics is very enlarged field. It is an interdisciplinary field of science which integrates computer science, chemistry, mathematics, statistics for analysis and utilization of biological data. Basically, in bioinformatics, the details and data regarding biological things about biopart, about life, is stored and it is compared also, okay, between two data. So bioinformatics also helps in comparison between two data, two details of particular living thing. Okay, so this is kind of basic introduction. It deals with retrieval of data, analysis and interpretation of biological data using computer based software and tools. This bioinformatics involves such software which helps in analysis and interpretation of biological data. Okay, these are computer based software tools which basically helps in retrieving the data and analysis comparison between two data. Data is basically details, a kind of knowledge, a kind of particular knowledge about something. So let us discuss regarding history of bioinformatics. From 1965 to 1977, day of established first database of protein sequence. So let me tell you about what is database. Database is a kind of like a, you can think it is like a book, and in that book several data details about particular biological data about living things is stored. Okay, so that is databases. We will discuss what are the types of databases and what are the databases available. We will discuss. So in 1965 to 1967, day of established first database of protein sequences, published annually as a series of volume entitled Atlas of Protein Sequence and Structure. So in publication of Atlas of Protein Sequence and Structure, this day of published a database of protein sequences. You know what is protein sequences? Okay, these proteins are basically made up of amino acids, and those amino acids are joined by peptide bond. Okay, and these are sequences of protein. In 1980, there were enough DNA sequences to justify the establishment of the first nucleotide sequence database. So by the year 1980, there were enough DNA sequences to justify the establishment of the first nucleotide sequence database. You can see the development. So within few years, between almost 3 or 4 years, so they were able to sequence the DNA. Okay, for the first nucleotide sequence database. And again, Gene Bank at National Center of Biotechnology Information. So NCBI, you can see here, NCBI is going to be a major part in the bioinformatics. NCBI is a kind of database only. Okay, so in another lectures we will explore the NCBI site. Okay, and another one is EMBL, the European Molecular Biology Laboratory. Okay, EMBL, established at European Bioinformatics Institute in 1890. Okay, you got to remember this name. The aim of this data library, it is basically data library, was to collect and organize and distribute nucleotide sequence data and related information. So the main aim then and the main purpose of this institute is to collect and organize, arrange, distribute the nucleotide sequence data and information related to it. Okay. So C is the person involved in sequencing of the first protein database, and this is the publication where its protein database is published. It contains information of 65 protein sequences, collection of all known protein sequences. Several releases followed, resulted in the protein information resources. Coming to next. So we will look into the objectives of bioinformatics. So development of new algorithms and statistics for assessing the relationship among large sets of biological data. So the main purpose also says here that new algorithms and statistics. Statistics is basically helping in comparison, analysis of the data, and also to know the relationship between two data, biological data, their interrelationship and correlationship. Okay, and application of tools for the analysis and interpretation of the various biological data. Application of tools for the analysis. So there are certain tools which helps in analysis and interpretation. Let me give you an example. Suppose few years ago coronavirus came and it is still, its effect is going on. Suppose that after 2 years one more other variant of coronavirus comes again. So we are not going to start our vaccine preparation from the beginning itself. We have to get the data from the first virus itself, its first variant itself. So from that virus details, we will compare between the two details of these viruses which recently came. Okay, we will study the homology structure. We will accordingly prepare the vaccine, okay, or drug. So it helps in interpretation by looking at the sequences, by looking at the safe structure, homology structure, we can apply the drug. And development of database for an efficient storage and access of the large body of various biological information. Okay, so development, there are certain databases which you need to be developed for an efficient storage. So it is a huge mountain of sequences which is stored. Okay, talking about components of bioinformatics, these are database mining tools or analysis tool. So database is basically a book, and in that book these data are chapters, and these databases tools are basically tools which helps in comparing and interpretation, okay, and analysis. So what are the data? These are basically collection of nucleic acid sequences, protein sequences, protein structures, metabolic pathways, and literature. So these all are polymers and they have certain monomers. Like nucleic acid, it has nucleotides. Protein, it has amino acids. Protein structure, primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary, what are the bonds involved, metabolic pathways, and literature. Okay, so their monomeric detail and their data is involved here. Okay, and databases. So these are basically computerized record of data, allows retrieval of specific records. Okay. So when required, we will retrieve the specific records. Allows adding, changing, removing, and merging of records. When it is required, suppose we want to target a specific part, specific gene. So with accordingly, you have to add, change, remove, merge the things. Okay, now, and use standardized formats. And talking about its types, these are sequence database, structural database, enzyme database, pathway database, chemical database, and clinical databases. These are types of databases. So these are nucleotide sequences database, where you can find nucleotide sequences such as NCBI is a major one, Gene Bank, EMBL. You can go through the link and you can explore. And these are protein databases. These are basically Uniport, TR, EMBL, PIR, PROCIT, PDB. You might be aware of this, COP, CAP. These are all protein database. So application. So I think you have got the idea regarding something about it, at least little bit. So it helps in basically in sequence analysis. Okay, various types of sequence information and can compare between similar types. Okay, then function analysis. It also helps to study the structure and function of different proteins, different nucleic acids, different enzymes. Okay, and accordingly comparing between them. Okay, then structural analysis. We can analyze the structure of two different proteins. Okay, and we can predict the structure also here. Either it be 2D, 3D, okay, or linear sequence. We can predict here. So this bioinformatics up to now basically helps in drug development and evolutionary studies. So let's take an example. You are consuming a drug from 5 years onwards, but the drug is not working for you. So you are not going to consume again. So you will look for the substitute. So someone has to be design the drug for you. So this bioinformatics also helps in drug development. Okay. Another one is evolutionary studies. Suppose you suddenly found a kind of bacteria or virus, but you don't know about it. So with the help of bioinformatics, you can get from where this bacteria belongs, what is the domain, what is the phylum, what is the division of this bacteria. Okay, you can get this kind of knowledge. Okay, you can apply this bioinformatics in evolutionary studies. So that's all about today's video lecture. It is a kind of brief introduction and overview what is bioinformatics. In coming lectures we will study what are the other aspects of bioinformatics. Thank you everyone. Let's meet in the next video.